Hey, I wanted to just provide this little bonus video talking just a little bit about how our brain works because I feel like once I really understood how my brain worked, I really started giving myself a break and understanding why I've tried to do too much at once and why it didn't work. And I feel like too many people internalize when things don't work out, when they make good intentions on changing their habits. And I think just a quick little overview as to what actually happens in your brain and how you can actually stack habits to help yourself succeed would be really helpful for some of you. So I'm going to go ahead and include this. Try to keep it quick. This is definitely a broad, simplified overview, but you actually have two main parts of your brain, and one of them is your primitive primal brain, and that's the one that usually is tripping us up because it's the part of our brains that is only interested in the here and the now, that instant gratification. And because it's only focused on these four things, it doesn't really distinguish when you're doing something that is actually good for you. It only knows that it's unfamiliar, and anything that's unfamiliar is danger to your brain because it knows that to keep homeostasis, to keep equilibrium, because you're alive right now, we got to keep you the same so that you stay alive. That's kind of its simplified overview of what's going on in your life. So its jobs is to seek pleasure, avoid pain, keep us alive, but do it as efficiently as possible. So the seeking pleasure, this is why you're finding yourself just, emotional eating is a really big part of this, because your brain knows it gets a really quick and easy dopamine hit from all kinds of different foods. And it wants to avoid pain. So the minute you try something that's unfamiliar, something that's new, or do a new workout, and it creates, some discomfort, it's like, nope, that's bad. That I want to keep us alive. So creates all this resistance around doing something different, and as efficiently as possible. So when you go to do something new that's unfamiliar to your brain, that is not efficient at all, because our primal brains really just want to be like easy peasy lemon squeezy. We don't want to have to think too hard. We want to keep things automatic. So when you're doing things that you've always done, the actions that are habitual and familiar, like you might not realize it because we talk a lot about morning routines and stuff, but everyone has a routine. Everyone has a morning routine. It might not be the ideal morning routine, but you have a routine and throughout the rest of your day that your brain is used to. And it's just what you do. It's automatic. It's familiar. It's not something you have to think about. And your brain's quite happy with that because it already has all the neural pathways formed to make that an unconscious or a subconscious habit. That makes that really efficient for your brain. Your brain no longer has to do any hard work. It knows what to do. But what happens when you start to take some new actions that are not yet new, they're not yet routine, it gets really disgruntled, it gets really fatigued. Anything that it has to really think hard about because it's not already a habit, it takes a lot of your mental focus and your emotional bandwidth, and it can be really draining. And that's why at the end of the week, oftentimes we're just surrendering to rest because our brains have done a lot of work. And your brain is really good at convincing you of ideas and thoughts as to why you should stop doing something. That's how it gets what it wants. It's your own brain and your own voice giving you ideas as to why you shouldn't be doing it anymore. It's really clever. It knows you well. It knows what to suggest. It knows what to say. So, like I just said, to preserve the energy, it wants to abandon whatever is making it do all the work and return back to where it's safe and familiar. So your safe and familiar is you're already doing. It's what's keeping you where you're at. It's the current routines and habits you have in your life. To your brain, that's the good. That's what keeps you alive. It doesn't know that the healthy habits that you're creating is actually better for your health than potentially what you're currently doing. So in the beginning, what happens is you're using a lot of your own willpower and intention in your brain to form these new actions because it's something you have to stay on top of because it's not automatic. And then you get really tired, and then you want to surrender, and then you want to quit, and then you want to give up, and then you tell yourself all kinds of things that are not nice, that really damage your relationship with your own integrity and your own word with yourself, that you'll follow through on the things that you say you will. And it really damages your belief in yourself. And that's why I wanted to include this video, because sometimes when you're like, oh, that's why I was doing that, that's why I always give up on Friday night, that's why, it can really just take the heat off and really be like, that's just how our brains are wired. And you can really start to have some compassion and curiosity in your journey when you understand how that works. So habits essentially are amazing because it's something that is routine and becomes automatic, but there is a strategy that you can use to help you form new ones. So essentially it works like your habits. There's a certain cue, you have a routine based on that cue, you have a reward from that routine, and then that all continues because your brain likes rewards. So for some people that might look like in the morning, you want the morning coffee. The cue is, I have morning coffee in the morning. The routine is you go to your coffee maker, and the reward is you get the comfort and the caffeine. So you don't have to like intentionally force yourself to do that because it's something that's already a part of your day. It's already a routine in place. So one of the strategies that you can use here is, for example, if you're trying to drink more water, is attach the new action, the new habit, to the current one, any current one that's in place. So your morning routine already has the coffee, you go to the coffee maker and you already have a reward. So now if you wanted to start drinking more water, here's just an example. You can now make it a routine that you put a glass of water beside your coffee maker in the morning. Every night you do that so that in the morning, you're going to start getting a glass of water in before you have your coffee, and already you're on your way to meeting your habit goals and in your water goals. So once you do that consistently and you repeat that, all of a sudden you've now developed a new habit of drinking water in the morning and meeting your water goals for the day. Another thing I've done for this is where I do my workouts in my home, I created a new rule that that became a routine for me. So then I would take my water bottle into the gym with me, and then I wouldn't let myself leave the gym until I finished the bottle of water. So then I would just chug it. And then already I was starting my day with like 30 and 40 ounces of water down, which is awesome. It's a huge jump on my goals. And the other little thing I've built into this journal is there is a little reward system in here, and it's your trophy case. You get to load up with all your trophies that you're going to win or earn, I should say, over the course of the 10 phases. And you might not think that's a big deal, but it is. Those little rewards of filling that up and working toward that is actually pretty awesome for your brain. But also set up some other rewards. Like maybe you can make a list or write it in your trophy case underneath the trophies of what your rewards are going to be every 10 days of the phase that you're going to work toward as you begin to build your healthy habits. So that's all I wanted to say for that, because I just thought it was just a quick little overview of how our brains actually work. Maybe it'll allow somebody to give themselves a break and just take things on step by step, understanding how their brain works and helping them figure out where is their little point of adding something new without adding too much.